Peace. It's your boy, Brother Syke, back at you again for another session of Strategies of Manhood. Now, this is not going to be the average bills that we've been given throughout the Strategies of Manhood. This is what I call a plus lesson. And what I'm going to give you now is called the 10 Rules to Live By. And this 10 Rules to Live By is really a synopsis of everything that you're going to learn if you stay tuned into the classes or the sessions that's given in the Strategies of Manhood video sessions. So let's get right to it and let's not waste any time. Number one, or the strategies to live by, is to have a commander's perspective. You have to see yourself as a general, and everything around you and under your control is your army, even your own body. So that means that you have to make strategic decisions in order to get yourself wherever it is that you're trying to go. You got to understand the way a general thinks. A general uses tact, he uses strategy, and he uses skill in his decision making. Number two, prioritize. The word prioritize means simply to put first things first. You can't always do what it is that you want to do. Sometimes you got to sit back and you got to ask yourself, do I want to have fun today? Or do I want to make steps toward fulfilling my goals? A lot of times you'll realize you can't always do both. And if you take the mentality of always doing what's easier first or what's fun first, then you'll find yourself in a losing proposition. Do what needs to be done. Number three, remain taciturn. Taciturn means basically to be quiet. Just because you have a mouth and a voice box does not mean you always have to use them. Sometimes the greatest display of wisdom is in your ability to remain silent. Matter of fact, if you think about it, the words silent and listen has the same exact letters in them, just rearranged differently. So sometimes you have to be silent and learn how to listen in order to increase your wisdom. And by talking all the time, what you're doing is you're exposing yourself. You're exposing your own hands. Never pimp your own hand. Stay quiet. Play the cut, as we used to say, and pay attention to what's going on around you. 4, think. Think. There are steps to thinking. You think, oh, I think all the time. No, you don't. You have what's called thought drifts. When you just mindlessly allow thoughts to flow through your mind, that's called thought drifting. To think is a strategic process. To think, you have to observe, discriminate, and concentrate. First, you have to observe phenomenon. Phenomenon is anything that your five senses can take in. Anything that you can see, smell, taste, touch, or hear is phenomenon. So you first have to observe phenomenon. Then you have to discriminate, which means that everything that you observe does not deserve your attention. So you have to make a decision on whether or not this is worth your attention or not, and then discriminate against the things that are not worth your attention. Last, you have to concentrate, which means to then take the phenomenon that you have decided is worth your attention and meditate on it. Break it down, analyze it, get a full understanding of the phenomenon, and then move through it in a proper and intelligent way. This will give you, once you learn how to really think and apply these 3 steps I just gave you to thinking, this will give you the uncanny ability to see things before they happen. Because you will always look at things and ask yourself, before you make a step or make a move, you will ask yourself, what could go wrong? What could go right? And what more can I do in my planning to ensure things don't go as wrong as they possibly can go? So this is the strategic process of thinking. Remember, life is a series of serious choices, and the men who can think the best are usually the ones who wind up with all the power. 5, learn to use your outlaw mentality. What am I saying right here? I'm not saying go out and commit crimes. I'm not saying send yourself to the penitentiary. This is not what I'm saying. But when you learn to use your outlaw mentality, it's the same thought process that you use when you rob somebody, when you sell dope, when you gangbang, when you do a drive-by. There's a certain level of boldness that comes with that. Nowadays, they call them gangsters, gangbangers, and criminals. Back in the day, you know what they was called? They was called Shaka Zulu, Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, Julius Caesar. Because these are men that were bold enough to step out on the things that they believed in and leave a lot of people in the wake in the process. So you have to learn how to use that outlaw mentality, not to commit crimes, but in economics, in business, in financing, in goal setting. If you learn to do that, then you'll find yourself winning. What do we say? In the streets, you'll say, I bought none, fade all. I'm willing to put my back against the wall and willing to plant my feet deep in the ground. A man must do men things for men's salary. Never forget that. 6, raise your children. The word raise means to cultivate or to prepare. So when you're there in your children's life and you're raising them and you're cultivating them and you're training them and you're preparing them, you're giving them things like what I'm giving you right now. And when you're giving them these type of things, they will always look up to you. They will love you. They will idolize you, and they will look to you for their lessons. By doing this, you have created your perfect army, your perfect soldiers, men and women that will always be dedicated and loyal to you as their father. And not only that, but if you look out into the community, there'll be children that don't have fathers. And if you take our time to reach out to them and teach them and educate them and raise them and rear them and bring them up, you'll find yourself having more children than just your biological ones. So raise your children. Number 7, choose your woman wisely. Oh, this is very important. Any intelligent man at some point of his life have come to realize that the choice of woman in his life can either make or break what it is that you're trying to build. One of the first things you have to do is you have to stop having sex with women that you cannot see yourself in a serious relationship with. Now, I'm not saying that every woman that you have sex with that you have to go and be in a serious relationship with and marry her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't have sex with a woman that you can't see yourself marrying. Because think about it. An intelligent, wise man, a man that's listening to these teachings that's on this channel and that's studying this type of knowledge, understands that every time you come, every time you bust a nut, a woman makes you bust a nut, your brain is being bathed in dopamine and endorphins. These are the same hormones or chemicals in your brain that drugs like heroin and ecstasy affect to get you high. So the intelligent man realizes that anytime that you have sex with a woman, you're taking a chance of getting addicted to her. Not only that, but you're taking a chance of having a child by her. And do you really want to be tied to a woman with a foul mouth, a foul attitude, and a messed up way of looking at life for the rest of your life by a child? No. That's why you have to make wise decisions and choose the woman that you choose to deal with wisely and intelligently. 8, study your ancestors and other greats. Malcolm said it years ago. Malcolm X said it years ago in the 60s. He said, history is best equipped to reward our research. I don't know who he got that statement from, but I read and heard it from him. But history is, there is no problem that you will ever go through in life that somebody else hasn't already solved. So what's the point in reinventing the wheel? Study those who came before you. Study and understand them and understand what the way they solved that problem, and then you could solve it in the same way. Then you'll start to understand that when you start reading and studying, because I love to read. It ain't hard to see if you look at the books back here. I love to read. You'll start to see that not only if you learn to study history, that you'll find centuries, sometimes millennial of history. And when you're looking at history, you'll find formulas for dealing with reality. That's why people, if you, and again, I'm not trying to be religious, but if you look at classical books like the Bible or the Quran, you'll find 1,500, 2,000 years ago, men were talking about solving problems that you're dealing with right now. You're like, man, how did they know that? Because these problems are classical. Human beings, as long as they've been on the earth, have had these problems, and human beings, as long as they're on the earth, will have these problems. So these problems have been solved already. All you have to do is be willing to do the research and listen to those who have already created productive solutions to those problems. 9, get your money right. Money isn't everything, but in business, it is how you keep score. And don't be running around talking about how you want to be broke. You want to be a starving artist, or that you want to be in a position where your money's not right. Because if you are, then you're a fool. If you don't have the right economic foundation and financial backing behind yourself, you'll never be as powerful as you truly could be. Get your money right. And that means that you got to get your mind right. And see, in these courses, like I said, in these courses, the strategies of manhood, there's going to be a strategy called the science of economics. In these courses, just like I said about choosing the right woman, there's going to be a course called the science of mating. In these courses, like I said, raise your children, there's going to be the science of building. So we have the strategies here to teach you. I'm not just telling you what to do and then leaving you with your hands empty. I'm going to give you the strategy for fulfilling these basic needs. 10, last but not least, be prepared to struggle. See, everything is not going to go the way you planned it. Everything is not going to go the way you want it to go. All kind of messed up stuff is going to happen. Murphy's Law. Your woman is going to cheat on you. You're going to lose your money in some kind of investment. Hell, you might get robbed. Your friends are going to die. Family members are going to be murdered. You might go to prison. What are you going to do? The man with the weak mind, he'll sit down and he'll buy out the game. But the man with the strong mind, he'll recreate his situation in his own mind and say, what can I do? How can I reinvent this? How can I see myself winning from this situation? You have to come up with strategic ways to win and benefit in life. Life is beautiful, but it is a struggle. So you have to be willing to accept the beautiful struggle of life and keep moving forward. I think it was Frederick Douglass. He said, and I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember the exact quote, but he basically said that the man that wants, with no struggle, there's no progress. Simple as that. Without struggle, there is no progress. So you have to be willing to struggle. You have to be willing to put in work. I'm going to add something else to that. Brother of mine, today we went to the gym and we were discussing about making the same mistakes over and over and over again, because the purpose of making those mistakes is for you to learn the lessons so you can learn the solutions. And I explained to him that's the whole ideal of reincarnation. See, reincarnation is not about you coming back as a dog or a bird or a turd or anything like that. Reincarnation is symbolic. It's a metaphor. If you don't learn lessons from mistakes or from things that happen in your life that you wasn't prepared to deal with, if you don't learn those lessons, then those things will come back into your life again and again and again, and they'll keep coming until you learn how to solve those problems. Then once you really learn how to solve those problems, you'll see that those things will disappear. They'll never come back again. That's you evolving to a higher level of consciousness. So that's reincarnation. But basic point is, these are the 10 rules to live by. Never veer from these rules. Live by these rules. Make these rules like your 10 commandments, and stay on the channel. Learn the lesson that we feel to teach. I need you to subscribe. I need you to like the video. I need you to share the video with your partners. Share them on your Facebook page. Share them on your Instagram page. Share them anywhere and everywhere. Just out of love, share the information. And we're going to get with this, and we're going to build on this in greater detail later. Peace. I thank y'all for subscribing. I thank you for listening to the video.